Hey there, it's us again, live from IMEX. We are the virtual events group, or VEG to you, and I am lucky to be sitting here with Shane Lewis from Event Tech Live. And I want Shane to give you the scope of what they do because it's rather large.
Thank you for having me. So I'm here representing Event Tech Live as well as Event Industry News. So our Event Industry News is our publication, been servicing the event industry for over 15 years now. With Event Tech Live, we have our London focused event and we are launching our Vegas event next year as well, bringing together event planners who are actively looking for event technology. So slightly different to what we've got here at IMEX, where we have the event destination side as well. We kind of take out of that bit and just focus purely on event tech, and as a result get a slightly different kind of event planner than you'd probably find here.
But don't you think, we were talking about this earlier, that event planners have to know about the destination's tech. It should be part of their checklist, right?
That's, tech's such a broad term, isn't it? So from a hardware perspective, yes, because hardware is a physical product that they need to have on site. So that will be at the beheld. Sometimes that is, like here I know Encore, for example, are the on-site AV company for this particular venue. You'll get Freeman will have it in other places. So sometimes you're locked in with elements like that, but when you're looking at software-based products and when we're looking at the wider
analytics, networking,
then you can be a lot more event agnostic, and the more savvy planners now are actually developing their tech stack anyway. So rather than being tied into a one-trick pony as like sort of all encompassing one, you get sort of the series of best-in-classes that have the right API integrations that you can kind of slot in what you need to give you a more comprehensive, rounded approach.
So you've been doing this. You've been watching the events industry for a long time. Nobody who went to school, in the events and the hospitality business learned about tech stacks. Am I wrong?
This is true.
So tell, in your own words, what have you seen over the years? To me, if you walk around and talk about their event tech stack, you're going to give some of these people agita.
But I think it's a funny one. So I've been in the space for 10 years. So when the first 7 years, nothing changed really. You might see some of the players. I remember when everyone had an app, and then obviously the last couple of years now everyone had a platform. So that was a forced change. And I guess the somewhat silver lining of what was a dark couple of years is the event industry was at least 10 years behind tech-wise, and it's been forced into improving. And whilst it's not good to see some companies go out of business, some of the lazy organisers who were stuck in, we'd have always done it this way, this will all blow over, they lost a lot of money and probably don't exist anymore. And it's the ones who I hate the word pivot because it was overused, but the ones who did adapt really quickly, moved forward and transformed with the times. And now we can see such a wide array of types of events and how they can be integrated and what suits an online event, what suits an in-person. Hybrid, we've only just started to uncover that, I feel.
Yeah, and know what? People are still experimenting. They're going to make mistakes, but I hope, because I sense mixed feelings. Some people are just wishing, as you said, this would blow over. Some are super optimistic about the opportunities, whether it's the metaverse or the Marriott. It's an opportunity to do the right event at the right time for the right length. There's so many new factors to consider.
Oh, exactly, and I think that's only going to increase. I think one of my sort of trend predictions for next year is I think we'll see the subcategorizing of hybrid, because at the moment it's a very broad terminology, like it means something different to everyone. But some people hybrid, it's running simultaneously, others are parallel events, others might have one day virtual. It's what does that actually mean? So I think people are going to really start to hammer down into what their kind of hybrid is, and I think we'll find specialist tech for the different elements. I think we've already seen, and most people can agree, that content-led events have done the best when it comes to hybrid, the tech sort of virtual and hybrid elements. Networking struggled a little bit with its integration. Hosted by stuff is really good, but more, particularly like a B2C event, trying to get people to network was nigh on impossible.
So now I'm just going to grill you. So keynote speakers, people are saying it doesn't matter as much anymore. Paying somebody $25,000 to come give you a keynote. Matter to you moving forward?
Yes, I do. For me, and the way that we're going to be doing our hybrid for our events is that we're going to have a single track that we're going to broadcast outwards, but the other 3 tracks they'll be available on demand later, because we don't want to punish people who generally can't attend the event. But I don't want to give you a reason not to attend, because the last couple of years, particularly with the rise of home learning, if you were running a conference, people, any excuse to get out of the office for half a day, there's a completely different sense of psychology for making them to put on some actual trousers and leave the house. And so you need to really kind of force it and give them more of an incentive.
So talk to me about, so you're also seeing a change in sustainability. I mean, travel budgets
Yeah.
have been cut. Travel is seen as not sustainable. Booths with walls and piping and draping are starting to be. Do you see that as a trend for next year?
I think it's a global trend outside of the events industry. Everyone's becoming so much more aware of what we're doing, trying to. I think we're realizing some of the bigger companies in the world are probably ignoring it, so we probably have to do it ourselves if we really want to start to make a change. And so you're already seeing people trying to be more sustainable. You're seeing more like marketplaces where people are able, if you've got a load of flowers on your stand, you can then sell that to the next, could be a completely different industry, completely different event, sell it at half the price to the next exhibitor. You've made some of the money.
I've been trying to sell our tables since we got here. No, it really is. And they're new businesses that will be born out of this circular events economy, I think.
Of course.
And so the other thing I noticed at IMEX is a big emphasis on health and wellness.
Yes.
That there are meditation areas, and everybody is interested. I mean, are you seeing on your side of the events coverage a need for?
Again, I think like with sustainability, I think it's a wider issue than just the event space. I think people are becoming a lot more aware. I think the isolation for a couple of years, the change, that probably we don't even know the impact on the COVID generation of kids of how they're going to be in the work environment, because so being more conscious about the effects and what impact that can have, whether it's something from imposter syndrome all the way to full-blown anxiety attacks because you've just got so used to being locked inside. So just taking that extra time to think about yourself and your own well-being is only going to help to enhance anything. And so that's why I'm all for IMEX bringing it in a lot more and having these elements and embracing it, because also it's an event for event people. It's the same as like if you're cooking for a chef. This is like the creme de la creme of where the best minds come together. So seeing them enacting it here makes it a lot easier for it to be integrated into smaller, more subcategorized events as well.
No, that's super well said. So I know you have an event coming up in London shortly, right?
In 5 weeks' time.
And so do you have a theme that you're stressing at that event?
We don't have a specific overlaying theme because it's where it's an event tech event. It's quite a simplistic theme in its way. But through the content streams, we have dedicated streams through content. A lot of that going to be sort of around sort of the likes of data usage, cyber essentials, and cyber security. I think that's another area where planners have had to learn fast and hard and probably been burnt a little bit over the last 2 years. Different certifications are needed in different countries.
Skills, yeah.
And then also just learning certain terminology, like the difference between a data handler and a data processor. When you're looking at a contract, it's like, well, what does that mean? I don't really until you get into the nitty gritty of, oh wait, a handler, it's still all my data. Oh, you're a processor, so what, you get to keep some of the data, and like you don't necessarily know these things until.
No, believe me, I didn't know what a force majeure was. Now it's the first thing I read. I mean, so I do. I think, and I worry about. Have schools, I don't know about the UK, but here I don't think the schools are keeping up with educating the hospitality industry in general for a new generation of skills.
Well, we'd be even worse in the UK, to be honest. Like, I know you actually have dedicated study paths towards the hospitality here, even bartender licenses and stuff, they're properly taught. I got my first job collecting glasses in a pub at 14, just as a.
Well, Roland's got that job now.
I know, and then you get taught to pour a pint on your trial shift. So we've never really respected hospitality, I think, in the same way, and that's probably a reason why a lot of our highest end hotels are actually ran by Europeans and internationals and not British, because they're just at a higher level of culinarily skilled.
Amazing fact. So when you're here in Vegas, are you going to be? Do you know your location?
We are going to be in the. Going to have to quote me. Don't quote me on the exact. It's the new conference center at the end. Is it the World? Is that the World Congress Trade Center? I should know this. So a lot of coffee and a lot of jet lag.
Tell us the website where we can find this.
Yes, so eventtechlive.com. You'll be able to find all the information you need, and you can also subscribe to the Event Industry News free digital newsletter. And we've got several podcasts and stuff on Spotify, so there's plenty of info out there for people to find out.
And you'll be covering this event.
We will do.
Shane, thank you so much for spending time with us, and
No
I look
problem.
forward to your Vegas show.
Perfect. Hope to see you all there.